OK，今天我们有更多的 Disco Elysium 的实况，各位。然后我发现我们其实不应该去对岸的，应该是我们去对岸前忘记做一件事情，就是比对弹道地图这样，因为我买了地图，是不是这样可以做的事情呢？那么就让我们开始吧。哎，是吗
The same two neon-lit shapes, a man and a woman. A ray of backward motion explodes from the man's mouth, through the window to the roof outside, widening into a radius, A prime. According to your map of the district, this shot could have come from a wide angle of locations, starting with the
那不是你的选项，那是我的选项。
ending with an islet in the bay. Let's call them B prime. B prime for boardwalk, B double prime for Land's End, and B triple prime for the islet detected. There may be smaller points in between, but those are too fine to
Mr.
zoom in.
Mr. Mark。但用地图比对后，我们发现子弹如果不是从阳台射来的话，有3个其他的可能。一个是大道来的，一个是岛北边的一个角，一个是另外一个小岛。
700 meters away, the likeliest of these B
700公尺外
chance.
What the
A skilled
fuck？
sniper could have made the shot, provided he had a safe sniper's nest. Even with the light on inside, we're talking military training. At that distance, the perpetrator would have had to take wind direction into account.
700公尺外射进一颗子弹到你的嘴里，然后还打破一个玻璃，这是非常困难的一发。
1.2 kilometers away.
Okay,
the
what
least
the fuck?
likely of these positions. Let's say 3%. A truly skilled sniper could have done it, possibly from a tent. No, too far-fetched.
几乎不可能，1.2公里外射来的子弹。
1 kilometer away, an unlikely point of origin. Beyond the docks somewhere, on an islet in the Bay of Martinaise perhaps. There are islets there, badly charted as they may be. The shot would have been a small miracle, 5% likelihood. There is an extremely narrow field of view from the bay to the window, between Rue de Saint-Ghislain 10 and 33A. The angle would have been extreme, and access to the islets is questionable.
From where, precisely? I see you have given this a lot of thought. Are those the locations you've singled out in addition to the roof? And what is the likelihood, in your opinion, that it came from a further distance? Okay, well, we should see if there is gunshot residue or sniper nests if we go down the coast. Rule these spots out one by one. It would be the diligent thing to do. Until then, personally, I'm going with the roof version. It fits the hidden path through the whirling. A simple hypothesis.
听着还是觉得子弹应该是从屋顶上就射来的。射手从密道跑到屋顶上，在近距离打破窗户，射杀被害人。太让我失望了 ，Kim 的侦探能力太令我失望了。他没有通过我们给他的测验啊。好，那我们可以真的去对岸了。不过今天已经要结束了，现在已经晚上6点了，就只唱卡拉 OK 去睡觉。
Hi again, gendarme. Bye-bye, gendarme.
没有加 composure 的东西。 那加 composite 我们只能够，靠有啊。
Hi again, gendarme.
It's the sports. He's a sports guy, all about that physical prowess and athletic skill. Nothing else here.
Bye-bye, gendarme.
看不出他的与众不同之处，一定是因为他健美的身材，各位。买个烟好了。
A colourful.
Again, I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol. Here you go, mister.
A small cabinet on the wall is filled with
Okay, here. I hope.
Right to work!
有人说可以把照片给他看，但是我到现在也是没有找到方法。
I saw you poking around in Lady Driver's lorry. She in trouble? Oh man, that's like a load off my mind. All that stress was messing up my rhymes. Oh, you know. Tommy Leham's gonna be a musician. Sprechgesang, but with beats. I've got a lot of free time on the road to hone my craft. Tommy Lam was taken. My real name's Jerry Lafitte. Tommy's way better.
It's more him.
Yeah, you too. Be safe, detective.
只是关心同僚的一个好朋友，你知道吗？为什么在一个单屯里，我们反而听得到燕子？
Life doesn't need to be a struggle. I'll be with you in a moment, officer. Let me just finish my sandwich. Talk to Angry Hog René first.
The heck? Hello? 我的错觉。
Officer! Ah. God damn it. Pull yourself together, René. What do you want?
看站子都快要不行了。
Yes. The terrain here provides an interesting variety to a familiar game. Yes. It was left by heavy artillery fire.
Heavy artillery fire, you say? That's the best kind of artillery fire. Very interesting.
Why what? Because that's what happens when communards hijack your country, execute your supreme leadership, and turn your capital into a slaughterhouse. You use heavy ordnance to clean up your home. Sadly, no. It was the foreigners who brought them to their knees. We fought valiantly. Too valiantly. So valiantly we got licked. Should have fought dirty, like they did with their suicide sex cult propaganda and mad anarchist women strapped to shrapnel bombs. We didn't so, and we lacked caliber. God bless him, but the suzerain's cannons simply weren't big enough.
听起来共产主义还蛮酷的，有没有自杀式性宣传？还有疯狂无政府主义女人，身上绑着手榴弹。我也把这辆炸平。
Because this place is a damn beachhead. Had to soften the commies up first. Yes, the military coordinated amphibious landing to take back Revachol.
He finds your lack of historic knowledge troubling, a sign of mental deterioration in the preceding generations.
Martinez was used as one of the 3 footholds in Revachol during Operation Deathblow in 08. The other 2 are off in Stella Maris and the Delta. This here is Blood Ground, where coalition boots first made landfall and cleaned those rabid dogs out. Most likely, we're playing pétanque on their mangled corpses.
Blood ground. You got old René going there. Like he isn't hungry enough already.
Damn right, son. They laid the fire of hell on this city before they stormed it. And it worked, too.
He approves of this radical approach, knows it was necessary.
The rest of the city got cleaned up, but Martinez they keep as a monument. And now the Union Socialists are practically running the place.
Well, it's your own damn fault. You, we, the coalition, Revachol, whoever you want to blame, never finished the job. Officially, the party never surrendered. Of course they still hold influence.
You don't even begin to truly understand the players of the table, let alone the specific circumstances surrounding the...
Oh no!
What do you think?
我们要讲社会主义的话了。
Thinking men have opinions on these things. Present one.
外国势力侵袭了我们的烂摊子，联盟15很有利。这该死的共产主义者不理解钱是怎么运作的。
Preposterous! Surely you don't mean it. I'm just sorry it had to be them. After 8 years of fighting those commie hyenas, boiling cats for food and drinking my piss in the mountains, I would have preferred if the Right Honorable King Guillaume returned to Revachol, or even if that damn clan Frisell had risen from the grave and led us. Sadly, that was not the case.
不要讲法西斯话，讲法西斯话对我的身体不好。
This royal failure weighs heavily on him.
Instead, all that is just, holy, and beautiful in the world was wiped away, and now it's neon signs with toothpaste ads everywhere. Foreign influence peddling garbage and stupid music on the radio.
他也是一个永远不会快乐的人，各位。
This is just what the commies wanted. This was their plan all along. This is what they wanted to replace the role of the suzerain with. It doesn't. That was 100 years ago. Ain't got nothing to do with anything. Damn Frisell. He was the king we couldn't protect. The Carabineers failed him, and the crown. He died in the hands of the Hyperlay, in a very public execution.
就是奇幻路易16。
He slouches as he says that. It makes him smaller, admitting they left the king to the mob.
A true king in both blood and mind led Revachol before Frisell. He would have been better, but the damn commies drove him into exile. The suzerain is the king! Has everyone forgotten already? They've forgotten already.
Soon, they will forget everything. Him too. Then, he chooses anger over melancholy.
It's no use talking to you. You were still in Daddy's balls when it happened. When we took our last stand against the Filth and rode the cavalry straight into gunfire. It's a Bell McGrave, 4.46 caliber, breech loading, Revachol made. Good weapon, accurate and reliable. This one's inoperable. The bolt spring is missing and the mechanism is jammed shut. Still a beauty. Where did you find her? I'm not surprised. There are probably lots of forgotten wartime weapons lying around here. Back in the day, everyone had something stashed away.
每一片是这样滥用的吗？这是药物 ，OK， 要适当的使用。
As for the rifle, I don't know what else to tell you. These BM-446s are an antique. No one uses them anymore. The ammunition is impossible to find.
发现那个子弹的口径真是一样的。
Yes, the Debardeurs Union pays me to stand vigil during the night. Not out of any political allegiance, mind you.
但这家伙穿着大战时期的制服，非常反社会主义，但他却帮社会主义的工会工作。各位，
I'm an old man. Don't sleep more than a few hours every night anyway, and money is tight.
而且还没有钱，在山上喝的尿跟煮猫吃都白费了。
He feels like he has to justify himself for some reason.
Yes, it does. Unfortunately, I wasn't working that night. Been on a 2-week leave since last Monday. It's a private matter. Nothing to do with your investigation.
You see, officer, René is the kind of man who would rather die than admit he needs medical assistance or, God forbid, seek it. A real man's man is just gonna ride it out.
I'm fine, goddammit. Mind your own business. It's nothing. Just got to cut back on coffee. No one. The boss has been unmanned since last Monday. There's no other guard. It's just me.
No one has been guarding the container yard since last Monday.
Yes. It's not actually an issue. I mean...
Look, officer, the container yard doesn't actually need a guardsman.
噔噔
Never had one
噔，
before René.
他的工作甚至是工会给他的施舍，
It's mostly
嘴巴上的硬，但最后其实也是被施舍过生活的人。
the possibility of someone being in there is enough to discourage any ill-minded individuals.
Evrard created this job for René because he knows the Royal Carabiniers' pension of honor and PTSD isn't something a man can live off. A decorated kingsman collecting there reflects bad on the whole neighborhood. His words.
这让他激怒他。开始觉得我们应该讲，应该点那个什么，点不直接收税能力。废物回收绝对没这个问题，这也是我的福利。
Look, officer, can we conclude the topic of my guard boss now? She is nobody. This is none of your concern. And I refuse to discuss my private affairs with the RCM.
The lady is Jeanne-Marie Beaulieu, and she sure as hell wasn't a nobody.
Yes. Like I said, it would be up anyway, so you might as well keep an eye out. keeps my senses sharp.
开始出了，别这样，我们能理解的，我们也是很堕落的，你知道吗？我们也曾经堕落了。
Vigilance officer, what can this old carabiner do for you?
As Rene turns from you to his partner and back, the medals on his chest rattle and glare. He keeps his spine straight and his ribcage lifted. There's two. The larger one is shaped like a cross, while the smaller medal resembles the sun. A crowned head in front of two crossed rifles. The medal hangs from a blue striped triangle. A small blue star inside an orange sun. It has the word Valiant written on it.
但发现他的骄傲其实不是没有原因的，他不只是一个保王派的禁卫军家伙，他是禁卫军里面的英雄。
For bravery.
It's a conflicted topic for the old veteran. There must have been a number of controversial episodes in his service days.
For doing my duty in the heat of battle. For looking my mortality in the eye. When men like Gaston here hid in the bushes and shot themselves.
He saved some muddy princeling who foolishly strolled into the front line in his gown of velvet and gold.
It was on the first months of the revolution here in Revachol. Unrest was spreading like wildfire. Marauders had taken most of the couronne and were getting really ambitious. King Frisel thought he could end it all in one decisive strike. Sent his cousin, Drisson, to put an end to the unrest. Alas, the young Drisson was all piss and no vinegar, wearing the tunic of purple velvet and cockatiel feathers to battle. Even his rifle was gold-plated, shone from 5 clicks away. Can you imagine the asininity?
Purple velvet tunic. That isn't exactly camel.
他穿这样，我觉得那时候他没有在在意 camel 的问题。
To keep the long and bloody story short, Drisson marched us against the partisans in Couronne. And when I say march, I mean made us walk into captured enemy territory, single file, like toy soldiers, while he rode in front on his giant red stallion. The rebels were smart. They let us come real close before opening fire. Suffice to say, it was carnage.
其实挺重。
I got shot in the left shoulder and went down. Just a flesh wound. But just as I turned over, the prince fell into the mud next to me. He was missing his lower jaw. Then his horse, driven mad by the noise and smell of gunpowder, stepped on my leg and shattered my knee.
What the fuck?
Hang on to the story. Veterans get sentimental after such retellings. This might yield something useful.
I grabbed my sidearm and shot the beast in the head. Then everything went black.
Capitaine Arnoux, le fléau des chevaux.
When I came to, it was all over. It was just me and Jolas Tresson, gurgling in the blood-soaked mud right next to me. The Dink had taken numerous flesh wounds and lost a lot of blood. But despite missing his jaw, he seemed hesitant to die. Tougher than he looked, that one. So I grabbed the Dink and started crawling. Kept going until the 59th Cavalry picked us up. Through some miracle, we both survived. And the jealous freak convinced Frisel to give me a medal for not leaving him to die in his own blood. Piece and shit. He was the commanding officer and I was on duty. Just doing my job. Shouldn't hand out medals for that. 13 months later, I received the Sun for distinguished service. It's not worth mentioning.
You sense he's downplaying it. He did a lot more than his duty. More than anyone's duty. It's in his spine. in his billowing breasts and untarnished self-worth. The old carabiner stands quietly like a statue, his features motionless.
What Monseigneur Modesty is not telling you is that he crawled over 7 kilometers before the cavalrymen found him in Brison. 2 days later, that was.
所以他肩膀中弹，膝盖被他妈马给踩碎，然后倒在血泊里面，谁知道几个小时，然后又爬了他妈2天，爬了7公里。
And that even while crawling with a mangled half-dead prince on his back, he still managed to murder 3 rebels on his way.
然后还打死了3个敌人。
Is that pride in his voice? It's deep down, but maybe even unbeknownst to the man himself, it's there.
连他朋友都对他肃然起敬啊。
Sorry, officer, but you're reading me all wrong. I'm a man of peace, and these kinds of bloody
Can
heroics
compose a piano,
are only
烂东西。
impressive to men like Rene himself. Certainly not to me. How did you find the story to be, officer?
这是法西斯吗？我称赞他一下，不法西斯吧？可以不要让我心里受到打击吗
Maybe,
？Motherfucker！
maybe, but also bear in mind, officer. They don't end this out for anyone with a service record. Oh no, you have to get shot repeatedly, and you need to get your hands bloody too. Really, really bloody.
我只觉得他很重金属，为什么要让我心里受到打击？
Do not speak of what you know nothing about, Outloon. Duty is something you will never understand. Bah! There were many such stories in those days. Many such men too. True Revacholians. Men with backbone.
Oh yes, honey, yes. Men were bigger, girls were prettier, and everyone wore the fascia. Lord, please bring those days back, if you can.
I'm not getting into this with you again. Officer, was there anything else?
You should try to come up with a heroic story of your own. Impress this old soldier.
这太难了。
Ah, yes. King Philip III on his steed. A reminder of what Revachol once was.
Oh, absolutely. At the mercy of a cocaine-snorting tyrant who emptied the treasury so he could sleep on a bed of gold.
A superpower, feared and respected. A testament to what this country can be under the leadership of a true king. Someone decisively, without fear of offending the sensibilities of the frail and weak-minded among his subjects. This is something the insurgents never understood. A nation is only as strong as its leader. That's why it was such madness to try to...
Don't get started on that again. What happened, happened.
The carabiner doesn't reply, but his entire being communicates unbreakable resolve. No one and nothing can change this man's mind. He is as rigid as they come, still in that antique uniform.
Right.
我可以试试看，但是我完全不觉得我们有可能可以成功。我觉得我们失败的话，应该编一个很智障的故事。当然编一个很智障的故事，我不知道是不是好事。那什么 conceptualization 之类的，不确定有没有任何东西加那个加1加2。 然后可以抽个烟。其实可能我们看一下那个难度，可能更没有
I
差。
like playing in the dark.
OK， 更没有
Sharpens
差。
your nocturnal instincts. Feels
太
like
难
being
了
on recon again.
抽烟也不会有任何加成。
Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be anything worth mentioning among your achievements. You should resort to good old lying.
我有一只狗菲菲，有一年深秋，我带它去钓鱼，但是船晃了一下，它掉进水里，我也跟着跳下去。
But of course, sire. Looks like they're waiting for you to speak.
看来我们可以不要变一个城隍。然后我发现我根本创作东西，我以为是 conceptualization， 但其实是 drama， 所以我今天就穿这个，算了，不重要。那话说为什么不能玩球？
Outdone myself. This is divine.
Yes, that's what you need, Gaston. More padding on that fat ass of yours.
Honey, it's a little pleasures. Life doesn't need to be a struggle. Hello, officer. How might I be of assistance of this fine day? Oh, the goal is to throw your bull as close to the cochonnet as you can. That's the cochonnet. Well, first, you draw a circle about a half a meter in diameter. Then, the players aim to throw their bulls as close to the cochonnet as possible. They must stay in the circle and keep both feet planted. I could, but I'd rather not. I don't want to take up your time with trivial details of...
Is he denying you information when you clearly requested it? That's it. We're blowing the lid off this man, Jar. You
What the fuck?
need to know.
小事，你知道，你还是可以告诉我，在有事情发生之前，会发生在你身上之前。看这个有病。
Then there's measuring the distance between the bull and the cochonnet. I always measure ours, but usually it's done by the player who threw last. The opponent has a right to measure if he has doubt about the result.
Can you believe this clown? This is information you must have, and he's stalling. Lives could be on the line, and he's just running out the clock.
Yes, officer. Yes. I swear, I don't know anything else about Pétanque. It's all I know, I swear.
And that's how you break a man if the good cop and the bad cop have left for the day. Disturbing cop to the rescue.
是好警察、坏警察今天都不在的话，就只能这样打败一个人了。派凡人警察前来救驾。
Let's cool Mr. Fight or Flight down before he kills someone. He gets overstimulated. But seriously, enough with the Pétanque already.
好了，你看现在一切都好了，不是吗？
Yes, yes. I'm sorry, officer.
Good. Gaston finally understands the rules now. Let's see if it makes him a better pétanquista.
What was that all about? Some experimental interrogation technique you're learning? We should leave quickly before it happens again. Right now is a good moment.
我还没讲完话。
Hurry up then.
Oh, sweet Jenny. She was the finest woman in all of Revachol.
Do not defile her memory, Gaston. Let her...
We knew her, all right. Lived on the same street our entire lives, just 2 houses apart. The 3 of us have been best friends since we were 4. She was René's first girl, back when the prick was 16. They were courting till he decided he'd rather die for some great ideal than just be happy.
And then you stole her from me.
Well, technically, you stole her from me, because we'd been pretty close ever since you two had that falling out over the ink you spilled over her pretty yellow dress.
童年的，是童年的，以前的三小恋情。
We were just boys then. This was different. You, no point starting this all over again. For the thousandth and the first time.
She died of pneumonia 2 winters ago. It was a quiet passage, peaceful. René and I were both by her bedside when she...
Died. No use sugarcoating it. Won't bring her back. Will it now?
departed. Until the very end she couldn't decide between us. The most indecisive woman I've ever met.
A quick grimace of pain passes over Rene's features, but he immediately regains control.
She could never make up her mind about anything. What to have for breakfast, favorite color, or which one of us to marry. She was always leaving one of us for the other, but never long enough to actually get married. Heck, technically, we're both still engaged to her.
You always confused her. Couldn't let us be happy. Seduced her with your fancy words and pastries.
Of course, officer. Memories are all we have left.
我需要吃个三明治 ，OK？
I'm sorry, officer, but I really don't share food. Nothing personal, it's just a principle.
What?
The only one you have.
The sandwich looks like a culinary wonder, well made and abundant in components. The author sure knew their craft. In addition to the obvious slice of ham, a fat one, you notice a brim of a tomato peeking from below. And is that mayonnaise?
火腿番茄美乃滋三明治。
Believe me, officer, I wish I could help you, but I need this sandwich to keep my blood sugar stable. In my age, you need to pay attention to these things.
你说需要毒品才能探案一样子。
The sweet smell of pickles in harmony with garlic butter and marinated onions emanating from the sandwich is driving your mind in a singular direction.
这个三明治看起来好吃到已经让我们有毒品反应了。
And then it hits you. The brilliant bastard has drenched the entire sandwich in honey mustard. That's incredibly decadent and delicious.
Fuck off! It's mine!
What the hell?
Sorry, officer. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it in a bad way. But the sandwich is mine. I'm not gonna share it.
When the dissidents come to rape our country, he hides. But try to get a bite of his dear sandwich and he gets claws. We are a special kind of vermin, Gaston.
A man so principled about his sandwich calls for a principled approach. Time to get political. You really do. Now unleash the fury.
这段烂。
What? What oppressors?
I'm not going to listen to this Kobe Connery.
Huh?
这个三明治是你亲手做的吗，同志？这个三明治体现出过度充裕的样子，这是一种固有的邪恶。对，没错，一个人怎么可以有这么多三明治？
I really don't understand how my sandwich could.
难道你不想要一个更恰当的三明治吗？一个有灵魂的三明治？我也不明白。 但是你难道不想吃掉一个没有资产阶级负罪感的三明治吗？
I would rather just have this one, officer. It's really good.
我的，完全我也不知道我们在讲什么。
The skepticism emanating from the Mary Senior could be sensed all the way to the Seminine Isles.
我的，什么奶油？像金闪闪的太阳照耀在田间劳作的工人背上。What are you talking about?
You're describing prison food, officer. I like different, better food. Fine dining, not jail time. Please, just drop it.
他无法体会劳工阶级食物的精简的美妙，真是太令人失望了。他无法理解，我也无法理解。现在干嘛？现在可以去 Broadway 上，可能我们现在去找个地方住好了。这是两只老虎。
Welcome to the fishing village. Please lean in closer. I have cataracts. Oh, welcome, police officer. We don't cause any trouble around here. And we don't want any trouble either.
We are not here to cause any trouble, madame.
Trouble? Say the second thing, Bratan. Shows you got style.
我的，我们是警察，我们是来搞事情的。咔嚓咔嚓砰砰。
No, you're not. I've seen you around here before. 12 years ago. You didn't raise any hell. You were quite helpful, actually. But still, in Martinez, you're considered an ill omen.
他记得我们12年前有来过这，还有印象。这解释他看得出来我们是警察。我说，如果我们没有穿着制服的话，他戴着警察戴着很有逻辑的帽子的话。
No, not you personally.
当我没讲。
I meant the RCM. Some of the men got into a fight. One of them killed another. Locked himself in that woodshed over there. He was brooding, needed some help opening the door. You got it open for him and took him to think about what he'd done in a more secluded place, somewhere more quiet.
这是一种形容监狱的方法，我想，委婉方法。
Oh, the usual. Dark tidings. Black hound.
That's you, all right. A black hound licking your own heels.
You're not. No one around here considers us an ill omen. People would have told us.
这说啥？大家都这么跟我们讲。
Maybe they are afraid. Because you're an ill omen. But you're still welcome here. As long as men with guns aren't chasing you. And maybe even then, I'm sorry there's not a lot of room to park a motor carriage. And not a lot of houses. Or a lot of people. My kids are long gone, searching for treasure. So are others. Ah, look at me rambling. what brings you to us? Nay, I haven't seen anyone lately. This is my little cinder block town. I know what goes on around here.
She's being evasive. She knows something.
There was a murder in Martinez. She might be a suspect.
Would you now? I know how this world works, and it doesn't work when people tell on each other. No, it's not like that, man. With him we called you. Right now, you just arrived by yourself, like a raven plucking at the window glass.
Enough of this. She better start talking right now.
There's not much to tell. People come and go. Now, was there something else?
你也帮我没办法伤害一个独居老人 ，OK？
I see, man. I hope you don't mind if we look around anyway.
Ruby was here. You know it.
而且他不说的话已经告诉我们够多了。
Ask her about lodgings.
Stay? Most people here are trying to leave. That said, if lodgings is what you're looking for, I've got a free room in the shack. I won't charge you for it. Take it as a gesture of goodwill from the village to the RCM.
有个家伙 ，God， 然后每晚都要付钱给他。你怎么知道他独居？他讲的 ，OK？ 他说他小孩都走了。你有看到他先生在这吗？现在这也是个酒鬼，那他有白内障，你要怎么威胁这样的老太婆？
That's exactly how they get here. That's why we built our own cinder block houses on the seaside, so we don't have to give money to those crooks. They might not look like much, but they are ours. Don't make an old woman regret opening her house to the police.
Well, if you are not in the hostel in the morning, I'll know where to find you. Here, in the shack.
He's a little relieved you're no longer in that room.
Kim 觉得住在这个被海风腐蚀不知道几十年的房子，比住在旅店里好。
Should he? This environment encourages one thing and one
你为什么要
thing
提到这个？
drinking.
Finally, you have those lamos of Martinez off your back, Bratan. This looks like a great place to bring chicks.
Not much. Where's the abandoned church? Some things just don't fly, officer.
So, they don't hold services there anymore? The ecclesiastes?
No, we've tried, but things just keep happening.
这也是个不
Crime, accidents, other things. The place never stays open.
She's not telling you all she knows. Keep her talking. She nods, rinse
又是个不祥的地方，商店街不祥，教
the
堂也
door
不祥。
as
I'll wait outside to give you some time and privacy to check out your new living arrangements. After we are done with the day, I'll still be staying in the whirling rags for the night.
the key turns with
对啊，没有房间整理服务还敢收那么多钱，你搞错。
On the table, you see a bowl of water, a rough soap, and next to it, a small hand mirror. A straight razor soaks inside the wash basin. The water reflects back a vague image of your face. Nose bulbous and red, hair unkempt, wrinkles lining the eyes and forehead. The stash is gigantic.
进去突然把胡子刮走出来，不知道
You'll
有
be
什么
looking
感
like a
想。
pansy without the chops. A fucking pansy.
没有胡子的话，你跟那些基佬有什么区别？基佬懂吗？
A fresh start looms ahead. Clean yourself up and be born anew.
怎么突然感觉到安非他命的浓度在我们的血里面降低了，让我们的手开始发抖。
brisk coastal wind still howls against the window of the shack. The room feels muffled, like you pulled your hat over your ears. Outside, it is cold and windy.
What is this place to you?
这是我的新住所。我可以看着海浪翻滚涌入，把我卷入死亡。这也不用钱。不知道之前那个去哪？对，之前那个去哪？我不曾经想到我的回家之路了吗？我记得这个加了什么？这好像加 perception 还是什么？哦，没有。Physics check 难度下降。我不需要知道我多老了。
Overhead, you hear the forlorn shriek
你们说好，我们要重新振
far
作。
below the birds. A wooden boardwalk
我们该让大脑里充满正激
tables and
的想
benches,
法。
echoes from a long-lost time. A middle-aged man stands in a rundown shack on the edge of a fishing village, listening to the heater hum and roar.
谢谢你这种奇怪的感觉，对当前的形势做出了公正的评估。
Who are you talking to? There is no one here, not even cold. Outside, the howl of the wind has picked up. The waves crash against the stilts again. It's as if you think the thought, but in someone else's voice.
Look under the floorboards.
突然一股声音叫我们看底
As
下
you
的木
look
板。
at the floorboards in this corner of the shack, it's clear one of them isn't quite level with the others. The edge of a floorboard next to it looks scratched. Hollow space underneath the floorboards is dark and damp. You can barely make out the mixture of sand and sawdust below. You stick your hand in and start combing through the sand. Dry, not like outside. Fine dust. And then, something hard wrapped in paper. A small cylindrical object. You pull it out. A bullet. The floorboard doesn't care. But maybe the washerwoman does. You have enough to confront her with. Holding the bullet, you get the feeling this isn't ammunition against you. It's for herself.
这枚子弹不是来对付你的，是他留给自己的。我们感觉到。
An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see the reflection of your face in it, adorned with the expression.
Oh. 哇塞，超多加逻辑的东西，都不用点 logic 就可以弄到够高了。
An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see the reflection of your face in it, adorned with the expression. An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see the reflection of your face in it, adorned with the expression. Like the rest of you, it comes from a bad place somewhere in the past. That's all you know. For an old mirror hangs on the wall. You see the reflection of your face.
然后我不想要点 electrochemistry。
mirror hangs on the wall.
要阻止的 expression 太难了吧？我想重新发现自我，我说重新振作，看来是史上最困难的事情。这样穿着这样会让我有办法重新打造自我，就是重新打造自我的想法了，好不好？没有，我记得没错。要重新控制我的脸，唯一的方法，用我们唯一知道的方法，各位。Only we know how。看着精美体感，我们不会再感到疼痛。我们全部的神经接收器都打开了。我将会控制这个脸。What the fuck？
It won't come off that easy.
这是游戏在跟我讲什么吗？这是 River Show 在跟我讲什么吗？也许我们不该，也许我们应该就保持这个表情，各位，这个的 expression。也许我们应该保持这个表情。也许这个表情完全烙印在我们脸上了。也许这就是我们新的脸。有智障为了他妈把表情给弄掉，点了超级多这个。So stupid！ 不要喝了啊，不可能再连续失败。
An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see the reflection of it's like something snaps in you. A nerve ending. A thought. A sadness. Your face in the mirror is suddenly clean of the layer that had distorted it for God knows how long.
就好像有一种东西突然在你身体里被折断，你所有的肝脏、一个神经末梢、一种想法、一种悲伤，镜子中映照出你的脸，那副不知道让它扭曲了多久的奸笑模样，突然间被清除得一干二净。在喝了超级多的酒后，我觉得这个完全没有说服力，怎么办？
Just like that, it's over. The running gag that your life had become. A sad old man looks back at you.
他就这样结束了，你那如笑话一般的生活。一个悲伤的老男人回望着你。不知道 Kim 在看到我们脸突然变成这样子会有什么感想？我觉得不要把脸胡子刮掉好了，你知道为什么吗？因为胡子刮掉前就是我们还有女朋友的旧我，但这是我们的新我，你知道吗？这是我们的新我多了胡子，稍微不一样。还有就是我他妈找不到加 composure 的道具在哪里。好像没有这种东西。
These are some wonderfully regular pants. Not too tight, not too loose, moderate in every sense. You'll blend right in at some pleasant.
这个裤子普通到我们的某种潜意识觉醒了。
I know you do. These inter-Isolari pants are like wearing a perfect compromise in your nether regions. No one will call the moral intern on you like this. That's for sure. You're a little more moralist now, buddy. A little more normal, even if you didn't want to be. Makes sense. This is what wearing boring office trousers does to you.
What the fuck? 抱歉，我们现在一个酒可以喝多少次？ 我们的安非他命可以越吃越多，喝酒都不会消耗。不知道为什么 Harry 走进房间以后，脸整个发光的走出来。好，我试试看刮胡子啊，刮不了就
On
算
the
了。
table, you see a bowl of water. A rub.
好了。
Your hand trembles as you scratch your chin.
Shit.
Oh no, that's not how a grown man shaves. Thank God, I would have cut your throat. On the table, you see a bowl of water.
算了，我们就胡子留着吧，这太难了。看 Kim 会没有感想？我怀疑会有。
Yes? Excuse me? Frankly, Detective, you are in a deranged state. I can't let you proceed without close supervision. In fact, under normal circumstances, I'd be duty-bound to report you. Take it as a token of good faith between our precincts that I haven't done so. Some you time? This is a police investigation, not a journey of self-discovery. You'll still have your evenings to yourself.
这发现自我。
A moment passes.
在我旁边要怎么做坏事？
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with? Damn that girl.
感 Ruby 真是激怒所有人。他跟 Classic 有的比，你知道吗？
And without anger, a long and harsh life has taught her not to buckle under pressure.
But you didn't put it there, did you? She did.
Gone and hid things in there? She's usually a good tenant, and not a stupid one either. Yes, I let my room to that Ruby girl. As I've done before when she's been in trouble or just looking for solitude. I've made it clear. We welcome all kinds of people here. She came last Friday, left on Monday in a hurry.
该什么错
What
过
has
了
she gotten herself into? That girl.
She seems genuinely worried about her previous tenant. She's seen her hiding out from trouble before. But this seems different.
That's for the police to find out. Right then, please answer each question to the best of your ability. I'm sure we have a few.
我听说他是个没办法控制愤怒的老九。
Not that I know of, though she was into nice music. She once showed me a few mixtape videos she'd made. Although I guess she was pretty handy with the mechanical and technical stuff. Even fixed the heater in the shop. You should be thankful for that. How would I know? She's a gruff one, but not violent. She doesn't go around toting a gun.
You could ask her about your hunch. That it was a desperate measure.
Do tell.
那一把枪是一个逃离计划，他想要自杀。
Exit from what?
他的生活，你在工厂，他的生命，我甚至他妈不用看翻译，我就知道他犯错了。
The lieutenant stops writing for a moment. He looks at you, then at the old woman.
他跟我们一样到了很黑暗的之地啊！
No, she's a fighter.
你确定吗？在另外一个时间线，我可以看到他的绝望。
Not a quitter, like you sometimes get, son.
Yes, early with the dogs, around 8 o'clock, I think. I cleaned it, like I always do. No. Nothing of the sort. Sure, she was no stranger to the bottle. She fit in that way. But I only knew her to have a beer on the beach while watching the sunset.
The sun sets for everyone.
She isn't what you call a drunk. Even offered me some from time to time. Said it was part of the communal life. But I never saw her lose control of herself the way some people do. She's good company. Knows how to talk to an old woman. At my age, you don't get a lot of quality conversation. So I really appreciate that about her.
This Ruby is an old lady whisperer. She knows how to work the village elder, unlike you.
Did she talk to you much during her last stay?
No, she was mostly silent this time. Kept to herself. She tried not to let it show, but I could tell she hadn't come to fish. Usually she likes to cast a few lines, but this time she mostly stayed in her room.
She wanted to talk to her, as they usually do, but she was brooding.
I don't know. Further up the coast, she tried to leave quietly, but the hinges on that door screeched like a cat in heat. Woke me up. I heard her rushing in those heavy boots, heading up north.
她往北走了。
You'll never find her, you know. She knows the coast like the back of her hand. You only
这
just...
海岸线才他妈来500公尺平方而已，找到了，OK。
I wouldn't worry about that, man. We are persistent.
Are you sure you would rather stay here? Get a nice cozy fire going in the heater? Seems like a better
不
idea.
要在窝藏罪犯了。
No, you can do it. You still have plenty of juice in you before you drop. Behind the cinder block houses, old pre-war ruins rise to the sky like dark palaces.
One thing, officer. If you do find her, please go easy on her.
我会努力的。
She really means it. It's an honest plea.
She's a good girl. Whatever she's gotten herself mixed up in.
Well， 他也是个他妈的大毒枭手，我不确定。What the hell！ 你直接跑到一个人家里，把他双击标兵给干走，是什么概念？
Hello, mister.
She clutches a small stuffed animal. Occasionally, she twirls it around.
It's a grouse.
You might be able to get on Gart's good side if you replace the broken screwer you're almost certain broke.
Sure. I mean, you already took it. I don't like it anyway. It looks
Okay.
angry. Raluby. My mom tells me I'm a big girl, but she doesn't know that I can't say Earl. Or like, sometimes I can.
Kids.
My mom's outside, and I don't really know about my dad. It's Lammy. He's my friend.
Lambie is a stuffed lamb that, admittedly, has seen better days. One of the eye buttons is missing, and the fur is tattered in several parts.
Yes, Lammy has lived a long life. Lammy was a
Revolution.
Yes, Lammy was a revolutionary. Bye.
很好，我很高兴我们导正了这个小孩。已经8点了。 我们是不是该回去唱卡拉 OK 然后睡觉？下面可以去捡这几个东西，然后明天做教堂的事情。到处跑一跑好了，不要做太长的剧情。那我们应该可以再跟一个人讲话，然后找到 Gary and Dale。那个小狼已经见够多了，那个小狼已经看过够多了。
That patch of reeds over there, it's a great place to hide something. You don't have a reason to. Yet. Nothing. Just a hunch. The hunch passes, leaving me there, by the old boy bobbing in the water. Time to go.
我们可以当超级巨星了。超流线型的帽子，可以让我们更有逻辑。比斗笠还有逻辑的帽子，真是太好了。
Scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from one corner to the other.
Correct. The density of the bullet holes is unusual, even in a general average bullet hole frequency in Martinez sense. Meaning, this is a lot of bullet holes. Looks like fully automatic rifle fire. Something you don't see these days.
The lieutenant also nods. It is quite a scene. The two of you standing next to the broken wall of an abandoned building, nodding along. Two officers of the law against the world, nodding in unison. It is your source of power, the bond of camaraderie between you. The lieutenant is nodding so hard it looks like his head is about to snap off his neck.
我们要产生共鸣了。
The lieutenant matches your nodding pace. He's a true professional at this. The nodding's reaching critical mass. You can't take this much longer, Captain.
撑下去！
A small bead of sweat runs down the side of the lieutenant's face as he maintains his nodding. It's too much. You can feel your vertebrae starting to crack, your muscles growing.
最后一集。
As the lieutenant takes out a handkerchief and softly taps the sweat off his temple, a faint crack echoes through the coast. Almost snapped your neck, but I fucking got this. No pain. No pain. Phew. Got off lucky there. That could have resulted in a world of hurt.
我觉得这是完全是我们满满的身体里90%酒精浓度，让我们麻醉了我们的痛。我们的脖子刚刚可能会断掉了。
All right. It's a good moment to stop. My neck was starting to hurt. If there's nothing more, we should get going.
He would follow you into death itself, and you would do the same for him.
重生了我们的激情啊！还有什么加密学 calculus 的东西？好像没有，少一时想不到。我们可以再抽一根烟啊，但是也不是很响。
A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall. A row of ghostly shades stand facing the wall. There are many of them, a dozen at least, their heads lowered and eyes blindfolded. It's quiet. No sound. No movement. 10 meters away, other shades are lined up in an orderly manner. Automatic rifles prime. A gust of wind blows by. The coats of the firing squad flap slowly in the breeze. A single person stands on the side. Snowflakes fall on the wooden planks and the surrounding sand dunes, covering the land with the white of innocence. A long time has passed since the moment of this fusillading. Rain and brine have since washed all the blood away. Not a trace remains. The abundance of bullet holes leads to two options. Either an inordinate amount of executions were performed here, or they did not use a conscience round, where only one soldier has the loaded rifle. Looks like this was a mass execution with everyone fully armed.
I don't know. I don't know who died here, lined up beside that horrible wall. It could have been any of the parties involved in the revolution. Perhaps the ones executed here were the loyalist conservatives, killed by the communists at the start of the Civil War. Or it could have been the communists, put to death during the last stretch of the conflict by the coalition forces. It could even have been the employees of the failed R&D center down the coast, as their building was taken over by the revolutionaries.
Or maybe...
Yeah, it's very unlikely the coalition forces were the ones who died here. They were always the last ones against the war. To be honest, if a coalition member was anyone in this situation, it was the commandant, the superior giving the orders.
A host of men, probably in everyday clothes, ragged from the conflict and covered in dust. They were not sitting, a common practice for executions in some nations. They stand, facing the wall. It's impossible to discern any details about their personality or background. Ordinary people, familiar, each and every one of them. Comrades, the forsaken, the wretched, who tried to rise against the horrors of the world. 7 men in combat uniforms and dark coats, holding automatic rifles aimed at the people. Soldiers from some side, but from which one? The commandant, the one who gives the order. Machine gun fire crackling through the air, the lights of the muzzle flashes dancing on his face. A cold sea wind blows away the figures. Behind this building, the other one, once filled with engineers and designers of Feld Electric, now collapsed and dead, but for some rats. You feel drawn, for some reason, to the faded mural again. A row of ghostly shades facing a crumbling wall, with another 7 shades, a cold behind this building.
好，其实我们不该做这个。我们应该先去尝试那个超级困难的 shift check， 然后失败后再回来做这个。我现在已经用掉了一个从事 shift check 的机会了。这样的 shift 很高啊，所以这应该不会太难。我们可能只要做个5-6个活动就可以搞定了。而且我没有，我今天不想要走那么远，明天的事情。 甚至后天我们才下去找卢比，我觉得。
You see a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off over the years, but you can still make out Feld Electrical R&D. A slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago. Now, only a shadow of peeled letters remains. It says, tomorrow is just a whisper away.
Looks like tomorrow never came.
Above the mural, a collapsed roof, broken windows set in walls that are cracking and will soon also fall, and the coastal breeze rustling and sighing in the remains of the edifice. There's something in the wind. Sometimes the only way to go forward is to fail first.
In there? She could. Or she could be in the identical room over there, or in that boat shack, in that church tower, maybe.
Why single out this one building?
因为风告诉我的。
Suddenly, all is quiet. There is no cold hand brushing against your forehead, no rustle in the reeds. The ruin in front of you is silent as a tomb.
How do we? I was really hoping she'd be in the village. Okay. She's probably north of the village, and this place is a peninsula. I think there's people west of here. We could ask them.
Indeed. You hear what sounds like two men arguing with...
And then there's a church. Anyway, we do it the old-fashioned way, sector by sector. Go over the whole peninsula, ask the locals, enter the places where we can enter first. Then, if we're desperate...
Walk the coast, buckle up and raise your collar. This search is going to be wet and cold. The remaining windows rattle from a strong gust of wind. They're covered in a thick layer of grime. They must have been like this for 40 years. Dripping water falls from a high place. There's rust and corrosion on the bars.
No, I won't even try. You know, I had a partner once. They called him Eyes, because he had to show me things. It's that bad.
This partner of his, Eyes, things didn't end well. It saddens him to say his name.
What?
Asked. He wouldn't answer. Maybe some other small talk.
我们的同理心叫我们不要再问了，我们就不要再问了。让 Ken 不高兴是我最糟的事情。那花了比我想象多的时间，我不知道那两个人是不是已经不见了。事实上我已经迷路了。Shit.
Winter, slow to let go of Revachol, flecks some more wet snow from above. The snow falls lazily, making the beach sand paler still, mixing with the rust-colored sewage runoff. And to think, it seemed as though it were already spring. The melting snow seeps through your thin clothes. Grandmothers don't let their grandchildren out dressed so lightly in this weather. At least your hair is protected from getting wet and sticking together. You look near. Snow falls into dark water. She prays, though she doesn't believe. There is a hum in the air. That's all. Layer upon layer of sand, poisoned with industrial runoff, for storm drainage, hidden bunkers. Rats scuttle. Someone stuffed a big old polar anorak into a concrete pipe under the boardwalk. It would keep you warm. You would probably never happen across it. But who knows?
Ooh.
We should keep moving. Who knows when the snow will let up?
There are white powder in the房子底下。在这个后面。 你老婆在等你呀、你不要让人家担心。送我一支笔，你知道吗
Hello, I'm Gary. How do you do, officer? Yellow man. I mean,
？What the fuck？
officer.
你他妈看到一个警察，然后就是脱口而出说黄皮人三小。
The lieutenant raises his eyebrows slightly and takes out his notebook. Yellow man. Interesting. This is something to ask him about after a little probing first.
I'm just waiting for my friend Morel to finish up with his insect traps so we can return to civilization. I like nature, just not this bloody coast. It's mostly drunks and degenerates that come here.
酒鬼，我觉得这不是我同伴吗？可惜我好像就是个酒鬼，或者是瘾君子，甚至两者都是。
Dark times will do that to good men.
Serious question time. This man is no innocent. No one is.
No. I help Morel with research sometimes, and I've learned some things along the way. But I don't usually go in for picnics like this on my own. Not many Sealites here, or anywhere, other than Sail. I meant no offense, truly.
Do you remember how, when we met Measurehead and I said the next races will be a really good one? Well, this is that racist.
Hey, man, all I meant was there are not many Sealites around here. I'm just stating a fact. No problem at all.
Here we go. Nice and easy. No way out, little guys. Not out of this jam.
There's a cylinder on the ground in which the man is arranging some netting. It looks like some kind of trap.
Who's there? Oh, the police. Hello, officers.
His self-conscious enthusiasm renders his movements ungainly. He looks like your understanding of a scientist.
Maybe the water lock is fixed.
We were supposed to go back to Martinez a couple of days ago.
什么奇幻澳洲人在车谁？可以不要提到这一点吗？
You broke the water lock with a motor carriage. There was a billboard in the canal. Not a vehicle. It said Samaran Butter.
Did he say we can go back now?
Yes, Gary. We can go soon. Yes, I am. I'm Morel, a cryptozoologist. I'm out here looking for a rare insect called the Insulindian phasmid. I'd shake your hand, but, My woman. You mean my wife, I assume? I will return to her. I can't leave before we finish with these traps.
为什么没有触发那个什么？没有触发那个讲奇怪的话的惩罚？
My wife understands that just as well as anyone.
Come on, Morel. We've been soaking out here for days. It's time to go back.
And leave the traps? Absolutely not. I won't let Lena down.
Come on, she wants us back. I'm soaked up to my nuts over here. We'll both catch weed crabs if we don't dry out soon.
I'm doing this for science, and so is she. Of course it's important to her. She's seen it. A verified sighting, on record. One of only 4 this century, and it's hers. Yes, that's how we first came to know one another, in fact. But that's her story to tell, not mine.
Needless to say, you must ask her about the mysterious phasmid.
Suffice to say,
It's long been our dream to find proof of the Insulindian phasmid together. I can't abandon course now. No. The traps need to be monitored on a regular schedule. What would we do if the phasmid were to starve while we were sipping tea at the hostel?
He's dead set on this.
I didn't expect you to take such an interest in our work here, officer.
混乱就是我的方法，我是他的姿势。
Well, be that as it may, I'd really appreciate the help. There are 4 in another we set. The third is you should check at least one of those before returning to this one.
That seems like a lot. Do we really have time for this extracurricular venture?
有啦。
I have a feeling the only people foolish enough to spend their time skulking among the reeds are these poor fools, and us. But fine, it's not like we are drowning in leads.
Bring it to me at once. Just make sure the trap is closed tight. That's highly unlikely, officer. But in the event you do, I'll spray you with a pheromone mixture I developed. It's made of musk and research chemicals. The pheromone should attract the insect to you, or at least prevent it from bolting at the sight of you. It's quite potent. Will last you about a week.
This is the smell of dying reeds, of longing crumbling into the water.
I hope you're not buying this. He dispenses it without letting you touch the canister, so it would be precious like holy water.
It is precious. A single dose cost me 50 real to develop.
Holy
but
shit.
I expect you to understand self-financing one's own research.
50块钱，各位，他喷了几下才50块。
Right, which means you two can pack up and go back to the whirling.
Whatever he thinks about this detour, it's clear that these men are exhausted.
Finally, someone's talking sense.
Thank you for your help. Gary and I will start breaking down camp. If you have any more questions, now's the time to ask.
If it's more cryptid-related business you want to discuss, you have time for that later too. But what if the information is vital? On the hunt.
晚点再说吧。我比较有兴趣的是你呀，Gary。
Hello again. Oh, so that's what the RCM in Martinez is about. Great. Great to hear someone's finally taking care of that.
So you do know something about it?
No. Nothing. He was some kind of mercenary. But everyone here knows that. I'm just glad to hear you're looking into it. That's all.
He's not feeling very comfy in his clothes, is he? Strange.
My mug? Why would you think that?
在喊出黄皮人的时候，感觉你好像非常渴望这样呼唤。
How do you mean? Forgive me, officer, but we've only just met.
He's trying not to look afraid, because that would be incriminating. Yet he is.
你知道为什么吗？因为我们是那种警官，我们是那种会知道你的事情的警官，你知道吗？
Okay, I admit it. I threw the mug away in the trash container behind the hostel. I know I shouldn't have, and I am very sorry.
这什么？他们要缴垃圾费是不是啊？为什么他要感到罪恶？
You're not going to find me, are you?
Using a standard form, officer. It's 50 real. You're getting off easy. In return, we expect information. You have questions to answer, sir.
What did you do, Gary?
Nothing. Just answering some questions. Helping out the law.
Here we go. Start pumping that sweet info.
I know a guy who works with the trash collection services, CS Municipal. He gave me a master key for the trash containers of Martinez, so I can use the Whirling's trash compactor to store my own stuff. Garbage disposal is expensive as hell. The damn Chimeans run it like a mob.
The what?
I'm sorry, okay? I thought I could cut costs. I shouldn't have disgraced myself.
偷接有线电视一样。
Disgraced? No need for the histrionic, sir. It was, after all, just a trash container.
He studies his reaction. Gary doesn't answer.
Officer, please. Let me explain. It's not like that. I was only cleaning up. I live right across the yard from where he was hanged, and I saw him stripped naked. All the clothes lying around in the yard, smelling. People are animals, you know? Then I came out to clean up the rags because no one else would. I put them into the Whirling's trash, along with a broken mug, admittedly. Okay, I was coming to throw the mug away, and, well, I threw the mug there and the clothes too.
Right. It was just civic duty.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. Civic duty.
As he shifts uncomfortably, a series of clicks, like the clinking of glass beads, against one another as they roll across a hardwood floor. You've heard this sound before.
What sound? Really? There's lots of weird stuff out here in the reeds, though. Insects, trash, could be the wind shifting some garbage nearby.
Every day, the wind shifts the reeds and whatever was left in them. Tambourines and condom wrappers, plastic and glass bottles. The smell of decay. The sound you heard was not the sound of something easily abandoned.
Armor? No. I mean, yes, of course. I know he was wearing armor, but I don't know anything about it.
There's something going on here. You should observe it more closely after this topic is concluded.
I hope I can help your investigation.
Don't be so relieved yet, Gary. This bad cop may have been in your apartment, admiring your mug collection. Perhaps a little intimidation?
Sure do, officer.
His eyes narrow slightly. He's wondering where this is going.
Of course.
我们可以先做这个 check。如果我们做这个串的话，应该是可以再解开这个一次。不过我们可以直接成功。
Look at the buttons, barely keeping that thing together, as if something is ready to rip out from underneath.
这家伙在沼泽里面打滚，然后穿着装甲，不学这个吗？有东西要从下面把它扯掉了。你说他的巨大肌肉组织？
No, he's scrawny. Try again. Yes, like a piece of ceramic armor, for example. One that makes a clicking sound when the plates meet each other, resembling pearls or marbles, stolen from the corpse in the yard near where he lives.
我发现你是高品质战斗装备方面的行家啊，朋友。
I knew you'd figure it out, officer. I'm sorry I didn't tell you at once.
光速束手就擒。
I was ashamed of what I did, and I didn't want you to know.
This shame is surprisingly sincere.
Gary, what's going on?
Later, Morale. I've got apologizing to do.
No, you've got explaining to do.
给我装甲，马上！
Everyone was picking those pieces off him, and I was watching them do it. And they'd scattered his clothes all over the yard. Everything was smelling. So I went there to take out the trash and started cleaning up. All those rags on the ground, him swinging up there, and I had a lapse of honor, sir. I thought, he's a foreigner. They all say he wasn't from here. Only the cuirass was left. So I stripped it off him. It was early in the morning. No one saw me. I took it with me. It was a mistake. Had I known it'd give you guys trouble, I wouldn't have... Fuck.
It's okay. It was a loose end, and you are tying it up now.
I'm so fucking sorry I called you Yellow Man. Sealite officers commanded the suzerain's navy. Most of them sided with the king when...
What the fuck? 6 nigga?
It's difficult to say what the lieutenant thinks of this historic apology. His face does not belie emotions. He sighs again, hangs his head, and unbuttons his shirt fully. A cuirass that matches the dead man's boots comes into view. Soon it is in your hands, smelling of his sweat.
Yes, absolutely. I will never do anything like this again.
Oui. 看起来是一团垃圾，更厚的脸皮，借来的自信。唱卡拉 OK 吧，各位，那是今天最重要的事情。趁还有观众可以听我们唱的时候。
You stop mid-step and put your hand on the garish necktie.
That bottle, Bratan! Just look at that bottle!
In this drunk's hand, on the pipe there, glowing blue, a mysterious, otherworldly blue, filled to the brim with holy mysteries. It's hard to know what exactly your vivid interior is speaking of there, but I'm guessing it's got a lot of alcohol.
Oh, I think this is about so much more than cool. Please go talk to him. See what it's about. I'm drawn to it.
我们的领带被吸引了。但是那是下次的事情，我们得赶快去唱卡拉 OK。然后我要去跟 Joyce Messier 讨论 The Pale 的事情，然后我们就去睡觉。或者是我们可以去打个电话。
There's a trap in the reed's edge. Locusts are crawling around in the trap, confused but uneaten. You see no carnivorous reed phasmid gorging on them.
Big surprise. Anyway, 1 down, 3 to go. I meant no offense, just...
The reeds bend forlornly toward the sand. The constant, distant song, louder on this part of the coast.
"没有东西被解锁，你欺骗了我。我没有突然，可能是因为我的 hand eye coordination 太低了，还是刚才已经解锁，但是我没有完全的看到。也许我要先去打电话给辨识组，然后他们会讲一些事情，我们才会想到的事。现在打个电话来急吗？不行，唱歌有观众才是最重要的。我们先马上先唱歌，再打电话回进去。 用啊，之前我们就有了。那就之前我也没有穿全套。我们要穿什么样的衣服在台上表演？穿这样？这是我们明星的样子啊！
Can I help you? No, you don't. It's not happening.
为什么？我是付钱的客人呢。
He tries not to look at you. It's dangerous to acknowledge the karaoke man. 请赶快用悲伤的风格引爆全场的。这是我自我探索之旅的一部分，帮帮我。这是我为自己造成不便的道歉的方式。我抱歉。你说的没错，时机、味道。
The whirling doesn't need more sad style. That's one of the styles it can do without right now. The whirling's not a charity or a musical therapy clinic. It's a commercial establishment. You're going to scare away the customers.
你没听过我唱歌 ，OK？
It's for no one. It's a prop. I'm not letting anyone use it after the great karaoke catastrophe of '44.
44年卡拉 OK 大灾难之后，不让人用它了。 它不是道具 ，OK？
A lot of people got killed because some arsehole wanted to sing karaoke. Okay, yes, it's for some clients.
我就是客人，我有付钱，我也有权使用卡拉 OK。
Ha! Well, we don't have any tapes. They all got stolen.
没关系，我自己带我自己的歌，我的主题曲。
The man in the vest and the violet shirt stares at the tape you've just given him. He begins to frown. This is the look of a man who's defeated. He knows he's out of
这
excuses.
是一副失败者的表情，他知道他找不出任何理由。
Fine, fine. Climb on that stage and do your thing. Just get out of my hair. I'll plug it in for you. Damn this karaoke machine.
I'm having it uninstalled, he mumbles to himself. Oh yeah, time to do the damage.
Time to do the damage. 你属于这里。那我觉得我们不该穿鞋子。这样感觉很适合演唱会的样子。手上应该是拿酒啊，废话。五指手套，不用眼镜啊，要戴眼镜也是要戴太阳眼镜。超级巨星眼镜，搞清楚。拿酒瓶唱歌，现在问题是要一手拿手电筒，还是两手一手拿一支酒瓶，一手拿两杯刀？准备开 out， 或者另外一手又拿着音响。算了，拿酒好了。我们准备好了，让他们感受到我们庞大的灵魂吧。
The stage is all set up for your performance. Feels silent. You can hear the pellets creak under your feet. You feel a little dizzy, a little unsteady suddenly.
So, are you ready for your thing now? Let me know when I should turn on the karaoke carousel.
I consider.
The bar is full and buzzing with chatter. No one is paying you any attention. But still you feel your knees turn to noodles. Okay, now a couple is looking at you. Even worse, you're sweating. They are going to hate you.
dress code insane 色装，穿着这个袍子还会加衣，这种。
The air is thick with anticipation. Someone dims the lights as the music starts. A lump's in your throat suddenly.
什么 ？Oh no！ 这才是真正的版本，这才是正确的版本。
I would often go there to the tiny church there.
你看一堆人整个看呆了。
Though it once was larger, how the real may rest there. Down through the mist there, towards the Seven Sisters.
是他们是崩溃的声音，不是？
Towards those pale cliffs there, I would often stay there in the tiny yard there. I have been so glad here, looking forward to the past here. But now you're all alone.
灵魂释放。
None of this matters. And all.
那个低沉嗓音是，你知道这个游戏那个低沉嗓音跟这个音跟古老蜥蜴脑他妈3个配音是同一个人。我时常造访那座小小的教堂 ，Saint Saint 的小教堂，虽然它也曾经辉煌。
Do you hear that?
看，
It's the
有人
most
在拍手。
applause in the world, Harry, made of pity. No one liked you.
你看，你们不喜欢的。我在台上唱的撕心裂肺，你们这些混蛋觉得还不够劲儿吗？去死吧！我他妈已经拼尽全力了，我付出了一切，你们还有什么不满？
You hear, or think you hear, uncomfortable shifting around. A bit of laughter, maybe. No one's saying anything.
你听见，或是以为自己听见令人不快的声音，或许是一阵笑声。没有人说话。
I'm gonna unplug the mic now, okay?
如果刚才检定成功比较好，不会，会有一个不同的版本。我没有存档，我看一下我有没有快速存档正确地方，我们可以看看成功的版本。没有好啦，这才是真正的版本 ，OK？ 这才是好的版本，这才是充满硕大、深邃、悲痛的版本 ，OK？ 你根本不知道什么是好的歌声 ，OK？ 这才是真正的歌声。我的歌声里有真东西存在 ，OK？
That's it. I'm unplugging it.
Let's go, officer. These people wouldn't know a good
你看，
performance.
这是 Kim 喜欢的版本。如果这歌戳到他们痛处，他们不会认为这是一场好表演。其实不是这样，他的意思是说，这些人没有品味啦。你看，你
Detective
喜
Dubois.
欢吗？
It was downright tragic.
他直接念我们的名字出来 ，OK？ 你知道 Kim 他高兴的时候会叫我们警探，然后不高兴的时候会叫我们警官，但他现在直接叫我们的名字 ，Detective Dubois。 他微微的点头，这是彻头彻尾的悲剧啊，悲情啊！我们还是走吧。
I mean it, he thinks.
我是认真的 ，OK。
To him, being a cop in the RCM was truly expressed in that performance.
看到没有？对他来说，在 RCM 当警察的经历，在那首歌中表现的淋漓尽致。这个才是真正注视警察的歌，好不好？你懂不懂啊？你太可以了。16，这个存档是唱完歌的存档。如果我们要尝试看成功的版本，我们要回到30分钟前。哎，你们要看成功的版本，就上网就有了。我刚刚选错一个选项了。刚刚我说选另外一个选项，他就说他会就会更尴尬的画面，然后说有人离开了房间，然后还是很安静，然后就会让一切更搞笑。但是我选错了。这是成功的版本。
I would often go there to the tiny church there, the smallest church in San. Though it once was larger, how the realm may rest there, down through the mist there, toward the Seven Sisters, toward those pale cliffs there. I would often stay there, in that tiny yard there. I have been so glad here, looking forward to the past here. But now, you are all alone. None of this matters. No, none of this matters at all.
Wow.
你看，连高头都在拍手。
Wow. I hope you really enjoyed yourself up there. Had a cathartic experience. Because for the rest of us, that really...
没有，你有没有看到这一段？他没有说很烂。
It's safe to say this is about your karaoke performance.
去你的！我拥有宽阔的灵魂，它总是会为此回来的。你根本不理解我的表演。 那些高音，我故意表现得很撕裂，想传递一种紧张、疲惫的悲剧。OK。
Good for you. I'm not letting anyone up there again, ever. Now, what did you want?
You feel bad suddenly. You see the delicate loops of handwriting in your mind's eye.
What is this thing? What, the interior decorating kind? You know, I'm sorry. This is actually a nice bird. A competent piece of taxidermy. I can fix it to the plaque and have a new bird in the establishment, I guess. So, I don't know. Thank you. I'm gonna go with thank you.
People just don't know how to accept gifts, especially taxidermy. He likes it.
I feel good about our work here today. It's all about the little things, like bringing people random stuffed animals.
Got the 20 real?
但不要往免费地方住，因为我
Why
钱
are
太
you
多。
wasting my time and yours?
我们今天先这样子吧，我觉得这是一个很好的结局。我们明天再搞定剩下的其他事情。
Hello, dear. I didn't notice you at first. Goodness, how is he? Did he say why he hasn't returned yet?
He's fine, ma'am. He couldn't get back earlier because the water lock in the canal was broken.
Oh, yes. That's my Morel. But I am so relieved to hear that he's okay.
You haven't, however. There are dangers out there. Our aging body's foul. Her heart won't rest until Morel is safely back with her.
Oh, you don't want to hear about some old woman's ramblings.
Reflexively, the lieutenant read his familiar notebook.
Well, it was summer. I was building a racing track out of sand on the beach near a tall stand of reeds. Quite a tall one. Many times my height, I remember. When, all of a sudden... I'm getting ahead of myself. I was 5.5 in Betancourt in the suburbs. My grandmother had a summer home there.
She'd just started forming memories. Real memories. Not the billowy haze of infanthood.
The strangest moment of my life. I looked up and one of the reeds moved. Not like a plant, but like a living thing.
他5岁的时候看到竹节虫，让他从此成为
Its body unfolded
神秘
like
动
some
物学家。
antique
各位，
toy. I've never seen anything like it.
从那一刻开始，他就知道那就是他的命运，他将会追寻神秘动物。
She had no fear, just surprise.
I didn't know this can happen, so I reached my arm and touched the thing. It felt just like a stalk of reed, but it moved, swaying, towering above me. After a while, 20 seconds, a minute maybe, it left, went into the reeds. I tried, but I was only a child. There was mud and high water. I couldn't see it anymore. I was just standing there, knee-deep in mud, looking around me.
Where did you go? Don't go.
I ran back home to my grandmother and asked her if reeds could walk, and told her they were looking at me. Of course, she just laughed at me, but I knew what I'd seen. For years, it was a story I told at parties when I wanted to impress boys, that sort of thing. Of course, most people just took it as a strange, amusing anecdote. So did I, honestly. But then I met Morel. We were on our first date when I told him my story. You should have seen his face. He said my descriptions matched the phasmid down to a T. Its white marble limbs, the way it moved.
So that's how they met. This is beyond significant for them.
I thought it was a wonderful story, ma'am.
But I don't believe it. A child left unattended on a warm day. Children make up stories and then end up...
Kim 的 conceptualization 太低了，你知道吗？他失败，他没有过他的坏 check。
Not all of them, as far as I remember. Some of them, on the inside, like stalks of marble, if that makes sense. It's hard to say how big things are when you're quite small yourself. To me, it seemed to be taller than I was then, but that's probably not the case. Our first, yes.
什么叹口气？
You're welcome, sweetie. I do appreciate the chance to relive it whenever I get one. It was just such an impossibly sunshiny day. So
And she could get up and walk right into the reeds on her own, into the mud. Anyway.
You know, To hell with it. Let's have more cryptids.
Of course, officers. Is there a particular cryptid you two are interested in learning about? Of course, dear.
哪有？我们相信好不好？我们只是因为喝太多酒了，所以我们的智力暂时被压抑。但纵使是这样，我们也有3 ，OK。我只要现在点一点进去，就可以把它启动了。我们就可以开始想象一个更美好的可能了。但没有，我们的想象神经是在我们的心里 ，OK， 不是在我们的脑里。这是这个 run 的主题 ，OK。我们不需要用脑想象。我们是不是应该现在成为 moral intern？ 为什么没有 moral intern 可以点呢 ？What？ 护照装在身上才可以研究啊？为什么不能点那个什么他妈的道德家的那个思考？我不理解。因为我嘴了星期天朋友，我只有跟他说他被逮捕了，说他是罪犯的话，那错了吗？罪犯不是该被逮捕吗？你看，我就跟你讲，我们这些警察其实就只是高官的走狗 ，OK？ 我们完全就只是他们的走狗，而且他们也知道，我们根本不代表什么法律，法律根本就只是有钱的玩物。这为什么只有社会主义才是真理呀？完全显示了这个世界的真正规则，各位，完全显示这个世界的真正规则啊！噔噔噔，好，就这样，感谢各位收看，拜拜。